Moving on to our city council candidates. There are 4 wards in Beaumont. These are your 4 wards. City council is made up of 7 different city council members. It's headed by the mayor. That's 1. It has 2 at-large positions who represent all of the different wards of Beaumont. So the at-large positions don't represent any one ward specifically. They represent the interests of all 4 wards, like the mayor does. So you have three positions that represent the entirety of the city, mayor and the 2 at-large city council positions. And then you have an additional city council position for each ward. So 7 in total. Mayor, 2 at-large, a Ward 1 city council member, a Ward 2 city council member, a Ward 3 city council member, and a Ward 4 city council member. We will be talking about the at-large candidates first, since they represent the entire city, and they will definitely be on your ballots. And then we'll talk about the specific wards candidates. But those candidates will not be on every single ballot. They will only be on the ballot of the people who live inside the ward that they're running for. So, city council at large. These are your 4 different candidates for city council at large. Audwin Samuel, who has been on the city council for 35 years, which is crazy. Audwin Samuel. Albert A.J. Turner. Brian Nepveux, and Mike Williams. Audwin had previously been the Ward 3 seat, but now has been the Ward 3 seat for 35 years, and just this year, I mean, it's kind of historic. Just this year has changed to run for the council member at large position. So that's interesting, and it gives us the opportunity to vote against Audwin Samuels. We're gonna talk about kind of some of the insane stuff about Audwin Samuel in a minute, but first, some more basic information. Audwin is the founder and principal attorney at the law office of Audwin Samuel. He founded it in 1994. He's been a lawyer, like he's in court representing clients as he's a city manager. I mean, not a city manager, a city council member. Like all the city council positions are part-time positions, and so they most of them have jobs in addition to working in the city council. Audwin Samuels has his own law firm and is a lawyer. He has served on the city council for a combined 35 years, which is nuts. That is a long time to get elected and elected and elected and elected and elected and elected and elected. He is not endorsed by the Firefighters Union, probably because he voted to hire Kenneth Williams. He voted to approve every budget that Kenneth Williams has proposed, and he voted to give Kenneth Williams his $30,000 raise. Audwin has been in my opinion, a pretty vocal supporter of Kenneth Williams, which I don't understand how anybody can be that, but Audwin is. A couple of important priorities for Audwin is that he believes that the council's top priorities should be fiscal prudence, which we're about to talk about the irony of that priority, economic development, and public safety. And he says that I think the way that they're depicting this budget deficit is inaccurate. The city is in a very good, sound fiscal position. He says that the way that people are depicting the budget situation is inaccurate. He says that the way that people are depicting the budget deficit is inaccurate. He says that because the city just voted to redefine the meaning of a balanced budget, to say that if there are funds like in the rainy day fund to cover a budget deficit, then the budget deficit isn't actually a budget deficit. It's part of the actual budget. So he's like, see, it's not technically a budget deficit anymore. And so whenever people go around and they call it a budget deficit, they're representing it inaccurately. Okay, Audwin. But the real reason why you don't want to vote for Audwin Samuel, and I highly encourage everyone will get an opportunity to not vote for Audwin Samuel. It's very exciting. I highly encourage no one to vote for Audwin Samuel because of the insane David Moore situation and the fact that David Moore is now on the Bond Advisory Council. David Moore, if you weren't aware, was the mayor of Beaumont. He was the mayor of Beaumont a long time ago, and for 8 years, something like that, he was mayor of Beaumont for a good amount of time. And in 2002, while serving as the mayor, David Moore was indicted on 16 federal counts, including bribery, money laundering, and mail fraud. David Moore was working with a real estate developer in San Antonio alongside another sitting city councilman, John K. Davis. David Moore was working with a real estate developer in San Antonio who did contract work. Terry Samuel, the real estate developer, wanted to do contract work for the city of Beaumont, and so he bribed David Moore and John Davis to kind of grease the wheels to get him contracts with the Beaumont Housing Authority. He also bribed them to approve a loan from the city for Terry Samuel's business to do work for the Beaumont Housing Authority and for the city. Moore, as well as another council member, John K. Davis, who was also convicted, took $25,000 in bribes from San Antonio developer Terry Samuel. Moore was convicted on 13 counts and sentenced to 20 months in federal prison, which he served at least some of. I don't know how long he went to jail for, but went to prison for bribery as the mayor of Beaumont, alongside John Davis. The way that they got this money is, and I'm going to pull up the legal document here. I'm going to put a link to the legal document in the chat. The way that they got this money is that John Davis instructed Terry Samuel. The way that Terry Samuel got the money to David Moore and to John Davis is that John Davis instructed Terry Samuel to send cashier's checks to different Beaumont businessmen for services rendered, who then would cash, the businessmen would then cash the checks, and then they would give that cash to Davis and to Moore. One of these businessmen who cashed one of these checks for bribe money and passed that money on to John Davis was Audwin Samuel, who was serving as city council member for Ward 3 at the time. I'm not saying what Audwin Samuel did was criminal, but I don't want to vote for somebody who, John Davis came to Audwin Samuel and said this check is from Terry Samuel to you for legal services, and I want you to go to your bank and cash this check and then bring me the money. And Audwin did that as a sitting city councilman with a separate city councilman. In April 2025, Beaumont City Council. Oh, hold on. We're not going to get there yet. We're going to go to the legal document and read the story. John Davis, the only legal document that I can find that attests this. So this fellow that got money from BISD for contract work is just a trend chaser. Exactly. Calvin Walker, trend chaser. But David Moore was doing this way before Calvin Walker was. Actually, this might be around the same time as Calvin Walker. So this is the legal document. It is case number 0341026 with the Fifth Circuit Appellate Court. John Davis, after his conviction, appealed his conviction because he was like, "Oh, I signed a plea deal and you violated the plea deal, so I appeal this." This is the legal opinion of a Fifth Circuit Appellate judge's ruling to uphold John Davis's conviction. But in it details the way that this cash system worked. So after the jury found Samuel, that's Terry Samuel, the real estate developer. After the jury found Samuel guilty, he decided to cooperate with federal agents, I guess to like get his sentence lowered. He disclosed that that after he had received the loan from the loan committee, remember he bribed Moore and Davis specifically to vote for the approval of this loan so that his business could do contract work for the Beaumont Housing Authority. After Terry Samuel received the loan from the loan committee, Davis, that's John Davis, the council member, instructed Terry Samuel to send $30,000 in payoff money. According to Terry Samuel, Davis instructed him to write out 2 checks, one for $21,000 to Audwin Samuel for attorney's fees, and another for $9,000 to Danny Fowler for contract labor. Davis asked Samuel to send the checks to Davis's home, which he did via Lone Star overnight service. Samuel's story was confirmed by records subpoenaed from Lone Star overnight service and a fingerprint analysis that showed fingerprints found on the checks matched those of Davis. Now, this is not like something that's just alleged by this court that Audwin did. Audwin Samuel and Danny Fowler, the individuals named on the checks, confirmed to the court that Davis had asked them to cash the checks on their behalf. Like I said, I'm not saying what Audwin did was criminal. I'm saying that it makes me uncomfortable to vote for him, and I don't understand how he has continued to, since this happened in, what was it? I can't even remember the date now. 2002, for 20 more years, has continued to sit on the city council. I don't understand how that's possible. And it makes it crazier that all this happened. And you would think, like, if you were like kind of adjacent to this crazy bribery conspiracy that happened, that you would try to like distance yourself from that. You'd be like, oh man, I didn't realize what I was caught up in. I wasn't a part of that. I don't want no part of that. You'd think that you'd try to distance yourself from it. But in April of 2025, this year, you know that bond that we're all about to vote for? You know that bond that we're trying to figure out what we want to spend that money for? In April of 2025, the Beaumont City Council formed a bond advisory committee to investigate what local projects Beaumont might be able to take out a bond to fund. So that right now, and this is an important link, I'm going to give you the link in the chat here. You should go to this link and take this survey because this is the Bond Advisory Committee has put out this survey trying to get Beaumont's opinion on what they feel like we should be making a bond for. That we should be taking on a bond for. But the members of the Bond Advisory Committee were appointed by the City Council. Each council member got to appoint 2 people to the Bond Advisory Committee. One of Audwin Samuel's appointments was David Moore. You know, the guy who was convicted and went to jail for bribery to approve contracts for developers that he took bribes from, that you like were weirdly involved in the scheme to pay him off. For what? Why? Why is David Moore allowed at all to be on this bond advisory committee, to be anywhere near money that's happening in Beaumont anymore? Why is David Moore allowed at all to be on this committee? Why is Audwin Samuel appointing him to be on this committee? What is happening? I don't understand. It's psychotic. So don't vote for Audwin. That's my personal opinion. I said that I wasn't going to tell you who to vote for and who not to vote for. I'm going to strongly tell you that I'm not voting for Audwin Samuel. And you can do whatever you want. But this is crazy. People don't care. They don't see. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody talking about what's going on. That's all I can think of. Yeah, I guess. I think probably the more likely scenario is that just people don't know, which is why I feel like it's really important to bring this up in this voter guide. I will not be voting for Audwin Samuel. Moving on to AJ Turner. AJ Turner is the founder. Okay, now I'm leaving. See you, Liv. So long, buddy. Whoa. AJ Turner is the founder of AJ Turner Enterprises and the director of operations at TGPA and Logistics. I don't know what TGPA is. It's like a delivery something. I think they do like industrial deliveries. They have contracts with like Amazon and FedEx. So he's the director of operations for them. He has served as city council member at large since 2021. He is not endorsed by the firefighters union. Sad day. Probably because he voted to affirm the hiring of Kenneth Williams. He voted to approve every Kenneth Williams budget, and he voted to give Kenneth Williams his $30,000 raise. I think that's probably a reason why the Beaumont firefighters are not endorsing him, and that makes me certainly disinclined to vote for him as well. He did form the Beaumont Youth Council, but I haven't been able to find. Apparently, they had like some kind of convention or something that was facilitated by the Beaumont Youth Council. I haven't been able to find a whole lot of stuff they've been doing, but that's good. Like facilitating programs for Beaumont youth is a good thing. And he one of his top priorities is supporting local business. And this is an interesting like quote for him. Like, I like this policy. Normally, like, I would be apprehensive of like a candidate who's like, oh, I want to support local business. But this quote is, I am working with state representatives on efforts to create more opportunities for local contractors and to explore ways to cap property tax rates for senior citizens, city employees, and veterans who have owned homes in Beaumont for 20 years. But look at him smile. How could you not vote for him? He is very charming. He's a nice guy. I mean, he does seem like a really genuine guy. And this policy is kind of not enough, but is positive. The idea of capping people's property taxes, especially for senior citizens and city employees and veterans, having to have owned your home for 20 years is a lot. But I think that's a state regulation. I can't remember. But that's good. That's a positive thing. I like that. But yeah, not endorsed by the firefighters, and has actively supported Kenneth Williams' management. The next candidate for city council member at large is Brian Nepveux. He is big, like, entrepreneur, community activist guy. He is the owner of 360 Tax Consulting. He's the owner of Arum International. That's like a golden bullion trader company. He served as excuse me. Served as council member at large since 2021 is incorrect. That is something that AJ did, and that's a holdover from the previous slide. Brian Nepveux has not served in any elected office, if I remember correctly, but certainly has not served on the city council. He is the founder and operator. He's the founder of Operation Beaumont Beautification, which is like an anti-litter organization. Cool, I guess. And the founder and chairman of Make Ends Meet Southeast Texas, which genuinely sounds like a really positive nonprofit organization that works to help single parents, help get single parents resources to continue to parent more effectively. So that's cool. He's not endorsed by the firefighters and has not held any position on city council, so he hasn't had any opportunity to support Kenneth Williams. So that's exciting. His priorities are improving city infrastructure, which one of these candidates' priority is not improving city infrastructure. Implementing measures to reduce crime, such as increased patrols and enforcement of public drinking laws. Okay. And he wants to promote fiscal responsibility. Cool. He seems nice. I like his organizations. An organization specifically designed to help out single parent households. It sounds great to me. And then we have Mike Williams, who is the last candidate for Councilmember at Large. He co-owns Longhorn Liquor, and he he founded the Southeast Texas Whiskey Fest. Since 2022, the Southeast Texas Whiskey Festival has raised more than $650,000 for cure rare diseases. It feels like such a weird, like, fake name. Oh yeah, we raised $650,000 for cure rare diseases. Not even like curing rare diseases. Like, I don't know. It's funny. I clicked through to the link to their website. It seems legit, and it seems like they do good work towards like actually combating diseases that there are not really effective treatments for. But the name is weird. He is endorsed by the firefighters union, and has been like vocally supportive of the firefighters. One of his priorities is public safety. He emphasizes the importance of adequately supporting first responders, including police, firefighters, and EMS personnel. That's what I mean by he's been like actively publicly supportive of the firefighters and the firefighters union. One of his priorities was fiscal responsibility, which isn't, infrastructure, which isn't, and business development. He aims to create a business-friendly environment by reducing bureaucratic red tape and supporting local business. I guess maybe sometimes bureaucratic red tape is good for like not having PFAS in our water or Teflon in our soil. Like sometimes bureaucratic red tape is a good thing. But I guess like finding the bureaucratic red tape that is unnecessary and getting rid of that's a positive thing. So yeah, that's Mike Williams. He's endorsed by the firefighters and has not held public office yet to be able to actively support or work against Kenneth Williams. And those are your candidates for Councilmember at Large. Again, they are Audwin Samuel, AJ Turner, Brian Nepveux, and Mike Williams. Everybody in Beaumont, whenever they go vote, will get to vote for or against these candidates. This is a really important one. I don't remember if I specified this. This is the only election on your ballot on the screen that you will be able to select more than one candidate. So make sure that you don't just select one and move on. You want to make sure that you select two, because there are two council members at large, and it's the two that get the most votes. So you want to make sure that you select two on this one.